I'm here at the Mountain Home Lodge with Greg Gardner, who also owns the Moon Lake Lodge, where they're hosting, I don't even know what we're calling this, the
gathering at Moon Lake.
The Moon Lake Gathering. You know, there's going to be treasure hunters, Bigfoot people, enthusiasts. There might be some UFO, because this is the area where people see all that stuff. You tell me a treasure hunting story about that area, about the Spanish gold. You got one? I don't know if you can tell if you know about the copper map, or can you talk about that, or do you know about that?
I do know about the copper map. Yeah.
I know some parts of that's hush hush, top secret. It's not.
I don't know.
There's people that know, but can you
I don't know how much.
What you can tell, or tell another story of something.
Yeah, I don't know how much I can tell, but since you brought it up, now you got everybody's curiosity. Supposedly there's a copper map that shows that there's a mine right there at Moon Lake, and there is a tree there. I won't say exactly where, but there is a tree with a Spanish marking on it, a heart, big heart carved like this big in the tree, and it's still there today. The fire didn't get it. I went up and checked, and it's still there. But the mine that supposedly is marked by that tree is I believe it's under the lake, and even if when the lake's low, it's probably just got it buried now. So, but there is supposedly that's where if you know those Rhodes gold stories, Caleb Rhodes, Thomas Rhodes, that's where they got their gold from for the Mormon Church. So. But there's a lot. This is like the center of the gold stories of Utah.
It is the center, man, right? Both sides of it. The drainage is both sides of it. You got all kinds of stories. Rock Creek, Yellowstone.
So if there's any gold in the Uintas, I believe it's right here in this area. And Rock Creek is probably the most prominent gold story area. There's lots of stories there, but most of that's Indian land, so that's probably why all the stories exist, because you can't go prove them wrong or right, because you can't get on the land. But yeah, there's lots of history of the Spaniards going into Rock Creek and the Brown Duck Basin and that area, and lots of stories about gold up there. So
anyways, tell me about the lake monster.
So the Moon Lake monster, there's quite a few different theories on what it is, from the Indians to the pioneers to today. People have all kinds of ideas about it.
Are they still seeing it?
I haven't heard any recent stories about it, but I believe it's still out there somewhere. The Indians used to believe that, and they still do. I talked to one just the other day. He said, "Yeah, there's our belief is there's a giant moose that lives in the lake, and that's the Moon Lake monster. And it will, if you're out there, it'll grab you and pull you down under the water." I guess there's stories of the old Indians that were up there that their canoe got tipped over and they got drowned and were never seen again. So I think that's how it started. But yeah, there's that story that you just mentioned with the people out on the boat that saw something and it wouldn't let them get back to the shore. So they were just stuck out there for quite a few hours trying to get back. And Bill, the previous owner of the resort up there, he saw something, and he has his own little story of it that he can actually. What year was
it he saw something?
That would have been, was it like the first year he bought the resort? So about 25 years ago. So I don't know what year that would be, but about 25 years ago, he saw something swimming across the lake just causing a wake. He saw it on 2 different occasions, but there's just different stories of who knows what it is. I've heard some people say that Moon Lake's tied in with some other lakes, and it swims back and forth.
Same story. It's tied in
tunnels.
Bear Lake. They put dye in it, and it came out at Bear Lake, and there's a spot here in Moon Lake that's bottomless. I mean, I heard all kinds of stories. If they're true or not, I don't know.
Yeah, I think the bottomless story. I took my boat out last summer, and the deepest spot with my fish finder, I was over 300 feet deep. So I'm sure it has a bottom, but it's deep and it's cold. And I think the bottomless story came from when somebody drowned up there, and they never did find their body. And I think that water's so cold, they just sink to the bottom, and they don't
ever pop up. Huh?
Yeah, they don't ever come up. So they just preserve down there in that cold water. So that's where I think the bottomless story comes from. But supposedly the divers going down looking for bodies, saw fish in there that they were afraid of and wouldn't go back down.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How about the little girl story?
So the little girl, I've never talked to anyone that's seen her, but it's supposedly there's a girl that on some occasions you can hear her crying, and you go down and look, and she's wandering along the shore in a white dress, soaking wet, crying, and then she just vanishes. So supposedly she drowned in the lake at some point and come back to haunt. And so there's a website that says it's the most haunted campground in Utah is the Moon Lake campground.
Really?
Yeah.
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah.
Really? Huh. Now.
So between the Moon Lake monster and the ghost, I guess we got some scary stuff going on there. But yeah. So I'll be talking at the powwow, and I'll have some more gold stories and more stories about the Moon Lake monster and
For those that
Bigfoot.
Those that don't know who you are, man, you got into searching for the Spanish, the lost Spanish mines and the lost roads gold early, and you dissected all the treasure books. You put out programs for that you could categorize things and put a picture with your stories. I mean, you did all kinds of stuff. I mean, you made databases. I mean, you're a wealth of knowledge, and if you're at the campgrounds or you're there, hit up Greg, man, get him alone, get him talking, because he's a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah, I've done a lot of research.
You've done a lot of hiking.
I've seen
a lot of things.
Seen some things, but yeah.
But the real treasure is the people you meet, the stories you get to hear, the places you get to see. And you never know what's going to show up at these powwows. There might be artifacts that you'll get to see that, unless you was there, you're not going to get to see them ever again. So that's the treasure. That's the story. That's the real treasure. Meeting the people and hearing the stories. That's the real treasure. So,
but there is some treasure out there. The guy just brought in a little Spanish pistol that he found around here, near here. He found it a long time ago, but it's just the handle is all that's left. The rest of it's rotted away, but it's intricately engraved. It's got silver inlay. I mean, it's way cool.
Cool.
So there is some stuff out there that can be found, and the stories are real. The Spaniards were here. They took a lot of gold out of here, but I don't know. It's out there. You just gotta go out and beat the bush and do your research and find it. So this is the gathering at Moon Lake, formerly known as the Morgan Powwow. It does get cool at night. The weather's unpredictable, so it may rain, may even snow. You never know, even in August. So be prepared. Come with umbrella, raincoats, and bring your own chair.
So Greg, I got to ask you a question. I never let these Basin boys leave here without tell me what they've seen. And how close are we roughly to the ranch?
The Blind Frog Ranch?
Well, how far is that? How
Blind-
far are we
Blind-
from Blind Ranch, Blind Frog, and also the Skinwalker Ranch?
I don't know miles. I think somebody said with like 75 miles, but you can get there in an hour to,
So what have
to
you
either
seen,
one.
Greg? You've lived up here your whole life. But what have you seen in the skies?
But in the skies, well, I did see a UFO once when I was a kid. I was just in grade school. I'm not sure what age I was, but just out while I came out of the school, ready to get on the bus, I just looked up in the sky. There's all the other kids around, and I'm standing there looking at this UFO, plain as day in the sky. And apparently I was the only one that saw it, because nobody else was looking at it, but it was there. And I could see windows, I could see little spikes. It was kind of, it was round shaped.
Was it moving or just stationary?
Just sitting there for about, it seemed like a long time, but I bet it was 5-10 seconds. I just looked at it, and it didn't move. It just, like, it didn't spin or nothing. It just sat there, and I could see, like I said, windows and the round shape. And then I just was watching it, and then it just went and flew off, and I just watched it disappear quick as it could go. And I looked around again and asked the kids, "Did you see that?" And nobody else saw it, but I can't deny that it was plain as day. I saw it. And there's lots of stories.
Like metal color, just kind of a stainless steel looking.
It seemed kind of bluish, but I think it's just reflecting the blue sky, mostly. And
Yeah.
but yeah, it's plain as day.
Cool.
My grandma, she's got an incredible story when she was younger of a UFO that she saw.
A lot of people up at the base of
A lot of people have seen UFOs, and back when I was a kid, there was more prevalent than they are now.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
why?
I don't know.
Interesting.
A lot more going on at the Skinwalker Ranch back in those days too than there is now.
So you knew about the Skinwalker Ranch all through high school and crazy stuff going on?
I didn't know anything about it until I moved to Neola, and the people that owned the ranch moved to Neola, and I got to know them a little bit, and I knew their kids, and their name is different than what's in the book. But I got to know them, and they, just talking with them, mostly with their kid, there's some pretty wild
They
stories.
start telling what happened, huh?
Yeah, and pretty wild stories about what went on there, and like I said, mostly I was talking to their kid. It just one day we just got to talk, and he was, I think, about 10 years old, and he was just telling me some wild stories. I'm like, "Where was this at?" And he's like, "Oh, he's telling me the ranch," and I'm like, "That put two and two together. Oh, that's the Skinwalker Ranch." But yeah, and there's just some wild stuff that went on there,
Interesting.
and he had no reason to make it up, no reason to
Especially
tell me stories that so.
Tell us a little bit about your store. That if people need to, they can come here and get some supplies to go up to the camping up there, and also get directions how to get up there, and then tell us a little bit about Moon Lake.
But yeah, this is the Mountain Home Lodge. We've got a bed and breakfast, so we've got eight rooms here that people can stay in, and we've got the store, general store. We've got gas, fuel. This is like the center of this is the center of Mountain Home. So everything to do with Mountain Home is right here. We like to say this is where adventures begin. So from here, you can
Wait a
go.
minute, let me stop you. I'm speaking of adventures because I've known you for quite a while, off and on, and you are an adventure guy. And you know all about these mountains. You've hiked them. You know all. You've explored them, and you got a lot of stories about these, man. Which at the camp out, I expect to hear.
Yeah, well, I've got a few, I guess.
You got more than a few.
So yeah, from here, this is where the jumping off point to Rock Creek. You got Moon Lake and Yellowstone canyons. I'll start here. So from here, you can stop here and get your snacks. It's the last spot to get your snacks and stuff when you head out. Get your fuel, and then your wood, whatever you need for your camping trip and for your adventure. So we have. You can get horseback rides. You can reserve horseback rides on our website. Soon it's www.mountainhomelodgeutah.com. So you can. Soon we'll have ATV rides you can reserve out of here. But this room that we're in here, we call it the Great Room. It's we put this fireplace in, and people have rented this room for birthday parties, family get-togethers. We're having a wedding here this weekend. We've had other weddings, so
cool.
This room's for rent. We've got just about anything you need before you head up to the mountains, right here at Mountain Home Lodge.
And then also, though, you own the Moon Lake Lodge.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
So yeah.
Can I get stuffs up there? Can they get things for camping up there?
Yeah.
Also?
Yeah. So let's see. A little over a year ago, we bought this place and the Moon Lake Resort. So the Moon Lake Resort has 15 cabins. We have a lodge similar to this store, so we've got all the camping, fishing, goodies, snacks, everything, ice cream, everything you need while you're enjoying the lake there at Moon Lake and doing your hiking. You can do horseback rides, mountain bikes. We've got boats, motor boats, canoes, kayaks, paddle boards, fishing. There's all kinds of stuff to do up at Moon Lake, so it's a lot of fun up there.
And with that said, man, we'll see everybody at the camp out. That's a wrap.
All right.